We're live! We're live! Hello! Guys, we are live right now with Eric Bauza, who is such a freaking talented human being on so many fronts, and we're going to get into all of that. But he does the voice of Daffy Duck, Tweety Bird, Marvin the Martian, Bugs Bunny, Fozzie Bear, Woody Woodpecker, who was one of my favorites when I was a kid. We need to talk about this.
Okay.
Master Splinter, Lego Luke Skywalker, and Puss in Boots, among a ton of others. Puss in Boots, I mean, how incredible is that, you know? So I'm really excited to have him on today because everyone watching is an animation geek or anime or video game geek. And so, oh my God, they're all so excited. Look, Master Splinter, yes, Hidden Jashta. That's what's up. So welcome, Eric.
Well, thank you for having me, Miss Carolina Ravassa. I appreciate you still continuing your show during this pandemic. I mean, it's 2021, but we're still here. I mean, we're still here. Yay!
Yeah.
You know, lots to be excited about. And I feel like if it weren't for you continuing doing your thing, you know, a lot of people like watching right now, I feel would be like, what are we gonna do now? You know, like start our own Twitch channel? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you could encourage people to start their own stuff too. But you know, for me, I'm like, leave it to the pros. So for me, give it up for Carolina Ravassa, everyone. I am in awe of your talent. You know, you have so much energy. You can power a city.
I get energy from you guys. I'm half dead, and then as soon as we go live, I'm like, oh, here we are, let's do it. So yeah, also, when you say leave it to the experts, dude, I'm not the expert. The expert is Danny Brito, who is taking care of this all right now. She's Maisie Grove on the chat, just so you know. It's just like the most incredible help I could have received ever. But I do feel like Twitch has been a cool way to keep connected to people because we're all stuck somewhere, you know. And entertainment. I mean, of course, Netflix exists, but there is a fun thing of like interacting live with people. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As live as it can get. I mean, would you ever consider doing like a live outdoor pandemic safe show? Like if you were to like set up a stage, your eyes went big as soon as I said.
I mean, I would do it as a performer. I just think that the viewers, like, who's gonna go, right? Everyone's being.
Oh no! I mean, you and the guest would be like live in one shot, and then you would still be streaming like over Twitch.
Oh, that sounds amazing! Yeah, totally. I just think, and I would totally do that. I think that in the past, you know, podcasts work in the past. Podcasts work that way.
That far gone.
You invite somebody over and you're interviewing them there, but now it's just like, well, no one's leaving their home, so let's just do it this way, which is better. You didn't have to commute, dude. You know?
It's true. I rolled right out of bed. I slept in this. These are my pajamas. My Waka Wana pajamas. huge Jess Harnell fan, so he's the voice of Wacko Warner.
Good idea. I haven't had Jess on here. I'll have to bring him on.
You have to have him on, and you need like a third extra square just for his hair, because his hair is, I don't know if you've seen his hair, but it's like a lion's mane. I'll tell you a funny true story. When we were still recording in booths, I walked into a sound booth, and I smelt like this amazing hair I was like, this smells like the best shampoo or conditioner or gel or mousse or whatever. And I asked the engineer, I was like, was Jess Harnell just in this booth? And he went, yes. And I was like laughing so hard because I was like, of course, his hair is so luxurious. No wonder the ladies love him. I gotta start doing that, or at least shampoo my hats. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but
oh my gosh,
Jess Harnell, if you're watching this.
Yeah. Please watch our show, Jess.
Yes.
No, he is fabulous and incredibly talented as well. Yes, good idea. I keep thinking, like, what other voice actors am I going to bring on soon?
Let's just have me on to tell you who you should have on for real. Like, if no one really wants to hear from
you. Thank you. Let's keep going. But I do want to have Robbie Damon on soon and all that stuff. But, people are busy with babies and life and stuff.
I could call him right now. Robbie! Not a lot of people know. Fun fact, Robbie Damon lives just right beyond my fence. He not even in a house, just behind the fence.
For those of you watching, he does a lot of voices, but he's recently in Cyberpunk, and so, very exciting thing for a lot of the gamers that are here.
Oh my gosh, the video game world. Let's talk about, I'm going to switch it and talk about you for a minute. The video game world. Let's talk about how difficult and hard that work is. I go into a sound booth and I look at that stack of, it's like a phone book of script, and I'm like, how do you do it? Like, how do you make it look so easy?
Well, we don't. Listen, dude, we do a 4-hour session and we're done. You're doing like session after session after session of like cartoon voices. Those also
They get a little intense, but I mean, they're not saying, okay, Bugs Bunny Falls, small, medium, large, go. It's not like Bugs Bunny's doing that. He yells maybe once in a while, but
it's not like the video game stock. It's not like what you guys do.
It's not like video game stock.
You're a pro, Doc.
Yeah. No one came here to hear my normal voice. They're like, when's he going to start doing voices? Because
you know what I do? I was thinking about this today, and like old school cartoons were all voiced by like white dudes, and so and they're all incredibly talented. I know that you give them all the credit that they deserve because they came up with these voices, and now you have taken them on. And the fact that you're a Canadipino, what do you call it?
I believe it's a topping that you order with your nachos. A Phil Canadian. A Phil Canadian is what I've been.
Okay, I thought there was like a merging of it that was
a Canadipino. A Canadipino will put itself in a cocoon and hatch after 8 months into a butterfly. Filipino Canadian. We're like an endangered species. It's interesting that you bring that up, and I know that it is a hot topic. That in our industry right now, which is people of color voicing characters of color. Yeah. And when I started voiceover, I feel like the reason why I think a lot of us go into voiceover is because it doesn't matter what you look like, right?
Yeah.
But now more than ever, representation matters. And if you're talking about, me possibly inspiring someone that shares the same face or doesn't share the same face, maybe has a different look, or is scared to use their voice or not confident enough to use their voice, if I'm going to be someone that is going to inspire someone to do that, then I'm all for it. But I also feel like we got to get back to a place in our lives where, we can make fun of ourselves. Like that's me. That's me in a nutshell, like self-deprecation. Like I love people like Conan O'Brien who always poke fun at themselves for being too tall or being a redhead or being, a nerd. Like, look at me. Like the funny thing is about this is that I would have all of this stuff in my house even if I wasn't the voice of Bugs Bunny. Like I love cartoons. I'm I'm a fellow animation nerd, just like.
Well, let's talk about that. You started off as an animator. Okay, well, I'm going to pause though. There are a few people who want a Ray's voice line, who is my Brazilian character, and I would like to let them know I'm not ignoring them, and I'll say, "Here comes the party." She loves bombastic stuff, so what's that. And Mercy Yura saw you on Immigrant Jam.
Oh yes! Oh my lord!
So it's cool. We have a lot of the crossover peeps that watch our different streams. So
it is an amazing thing that Overwatch has done as far as multiculturalism and using the right voices for the right characters. It is, we had talked earlier about Puss in Boots. I'm only Puss in Boots when Antonio is not, when he's not too busy counting his money or doing sit-ups.
Well, so what does he say? I would like Eric to come because right now I am in Ibiza. So.
Well, here's the thing. It's like when I started doing Puss in Boots, this was a few years ago now. We did about 5 seasons of Puss in Boots. That is correct. Antonio Banderas. I am the little kitty cat.
It's uncanny. It's uncanny, right? Oh my God.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you 2 funny stories about Puss in Boots. Is that when it premiered, Antonio was also doing a small independent film, and BBC News, in the UK in London, they were interviewing him, and they said, there is a new Puss in Boots show out right now, and you're not doing the voice. In fact, it is a Filipino Canadian kid doing your voice. How does that make you feel? And he said, it only means that I created a voice that is so popular. I do not have to be there for him to exist. And it's in an interview, written. Basically, he was saying that he's Santa Claus and I'm a mall Santa Claus. I'm the imitation. I'm like the one that they hire when he's too busy. But again, it is something that it is less about copying someone's accent and more about his unpredictability and his energy. If there's a YouTube video that you got to look up where he is just performing, you could tell he knows the camera is watching him. The camera is on him, and he's promoting the Puss in Boots film. Yeah. And someone handed him a sheet, and it has all of his catchphrases, and there he is. He has a fencing sword in the booth with him, and he is going down all of the catchphrases, 3 takes per line, and he is having the best time. And there are so many different reads that he's giving that character. And when I mean reads, I mean he's going, I went to the store today. I went to the store today. I went to the store today. He's doing all of these variations, and that's him. He is so unpredictable with that voice that's what I had in my ear, was not the accent. You study where the person's from for sure for authenticity, but it's where he decides to put those inflections is what made the reason why only he can be Puss in Boots. You know what I mean? It was an honor to voice. And the second story was, there might be 3. I spent a 4-hour session doing Puss in Boots in the booth with Danny Trejo, an actor.
Wait, because he was doing what?
He was playing a character in the show by the name of El Moco.
Oh my God, guys, El Moco means the booger.
The mucus. And I'm sitting here in a room imitating Antonio Banderas next to Danny Trejo, who has spent probably countless, how many movies have they been in together? Or they're both icons. And at the end of the session, we're not really saying much to each other. We're kind of just getting our work done. It's like being in a room with a cage, not even a caged lion, with a lion with no cage. You're this guy's he's insane. He's so talented, but he's so Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
So after the session's done, he goes, "Hey," and before I leave, and I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "I just want you to know you did a better job than Antonio ever could have today." That's what he said. He gave me the best compliment, and the last guy was John Leguizamo. But John Leguizamo, he was playing Jack Sprat. in the show Puss in Boots doing voiceover.
Yeah.
And John Leguizamo was in New York on Zoom, and I was in the booth here in LA. And again, at the end of the session, he goes, "Hey, okay, that was a good session, guys. Good stuff. But I gotta know who's doing the voice of who's doing Antonio today? You know, he wanted to know." And I was like, "Who's doing the voice of Antonio? Who's doing Puss in Boots? I gotta know who's doing this." So like, there's like a room full of people, like he could see, and I was like, "Hi," you know, and he's like, "You were doing it? Oh my god!" Like he was. Yeah, he could not believe it. And again, I think that's the magic of voiceover. It's like we have these weird, and I'm sure if there's any aspiring voiceover artists watching now, it's like you have this weird superpower, right? And I think the magic really comes from like that guy's Bugs Bunny now, or you know, like Carolina's was playing the reporter in that cartoon. And,
old lady, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like I remember you were doing Ninja Turtles, Rise of the TMNT at was it not Nickelodeon? Where I was watching you do a session. No, it wasn't. Was it not Casa Grandes?
Yeah, no, Loud House.
Was it Loud House? Okay. One of the many hit shows they have at Nickelodeon, and I was watching you because I just finished my session, and just watching you perform in the booth was just like watching a tornado. Like you were like going from like, because they were like, okay, you know, just do your normal voice, like one take is your normal voice, and you did that, and they're like, okay, well, let's spice it up a bit, let's do a little bit of like you know, an accent or a character, and you were able to just kind of go in and out of these multiple, like 1 degree, like just 1 degree different was the world of difference.
True.
And again, it's just amazing to see what when you're asked to do something in voiceover versus being on camera, you're kind of just stuck being you on camera, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
But when you're in voiceover, you can do just about anything you want, and I feel like there's magic there. And I know, like, obviously, like, the most recent thing that we could talk about that is of the subject is the Cleveland show, or not Cleveland show, Cleveland Brown on Family Guy, was for many, many years voiced by Mike Henry, who was a Caucasian male voicing an African-American character.
Mm-hmm.
No one really complained about it, and no one asked him to step down. He stepped down, and amazingly so. Like, he did it on his own merit, which, you know, credit to him. And they replaced
with Big Mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But with Cleveland, they found an amazing voiced impressionist who was African American, also a huge YouTube impressionist. I don't know the gentleman's name, and please forgive me. He is amazing, and I think you need to look it up to hear him do this voice.
You don't know his name.
I saw the article. One of the directors that I know from Family Guy had posted the link, and I was just like, I need to hear, because I'm always like, who did they find?
Totally,
and then you hear it, and I was just blown away by how spot on he was. And
come on, dude, that's your job. You do spot on everybody. Like, you just did Johnny Legs, and it blew my mind.
You know, Johnny Legs. You know, this Johnny Legs. I love Johnny Legs. This guy, Johnny Leguizamo. You know, I love Johnny Leguizamo. He's what an amazing actor.
He is. Amazing.
But the guy that's in there now doing Cleveland Brown is an amazing voice impressionist and an actor, and he's paying homage to the character. He hasn't really changed much. But then if you're like really going to be nitpicky and go, oh well, you know, this is the conversation we need to be having, right? This is the conversation that I can't really conduct. But like, the question is, he's still just doing an impression of what the white guy was doing was quote unquote wrong. But it's not wrong now, because you actually have a gentleman who's representing that culture. So it's like, you know, there's so many things you could talk about with this. But again, I just, you know, what was funny about the Cleveland show was that they had Mike Henry voicing Cleveland, and they had Kevin Michael Richardson, who we all know is, one of the most amazing voiceover artists in voiceover history, Kevin Michael Richardson. They were having an African-American actor voice a white redneck character. so they balanced it out on that show, and that to me is so funny, you know, like that's the comedy. But again, we're living in a the difference of a year or two or 3 or 4 or 5. The difference like these years have made, and especially now, we have to be very aware, not sensitive or cautious, but we just have to be aware and educate ourselves and really, pay respect to our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, and these people, the people that may not have had a chance to, read for some of these characters or portray themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is, because I think that, obviously the white people who are voicing these characters are doing a great job. It's just, for a very long time, minorities didn't get the opportunity to audition or didn't get recommended because they didn't know the higher up who happened to be white, who only knew white people,
it goes beyond just representing and just the systemic, the system, and I just like you said, the first non-white person to voice Bugs Bunny. I like how there's going to be 7 white dudes and then the kid from Up at the end of the,
But that's what is so amazing. And besides your ethnicity and nationality, I think that I love how you've just managed to talk about a bunch of other amazing voice actors while I'm trying to highlight you.
Well, that's what we always do. I don't know if you noticed this. That's what we always do. Like, I was just talking to someone the other day about not booking work, and I've auditioned so much and not got a call back, not gotten anything, and I was a request. But then you think about it and you go, but who would be good for this part? And then you recommend, him and her, or her and him. Yeah. And that's just who our community is in voiceover. Yeah, it's like, I don't think we're that greedy. Again, it's not like we're getting paid millions of dollars. If it were a $10 million job, then maybe I'd be like, I can do it. Just give me another chance.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, it's like I love the people that we work with, and again, majority of the people that I work with are people that I grew up watching.
Yeah. That's what's so incredible. I think when we get to work with our heroes or maybe voice the character they used to do, what a huge honor is that, to see that happen.
Absolutely.
What I find fascinating, though, about, besides, again, your Filipino-Canadian status, is that you weren't even pursuing voice acting for a while.
No, it was
animation.
It was just, animation, actually. I was, doing some character layout at a company called 6 Point Harness, and basically I love drawing, don't get me wrong. Drawing will always be are
you drawing as we speak?
Drawing will always be my fascination and introduction into voiceover, because you watch cartoons and you're like, who the hell is doing that voice, but I loved the art behind it. I loved Looney Tunes was definitely one of my favorite things to watch as a kid.
Genius.
I drew this one for Lucy, your coworker. But it's basically
How would you say that? Thanks, Doc.
But it's you're kind of just you're obsessed with this one thing, and you learn acting from watching. I could you should see the butt dent in my couch for how many hours I've sat in that couch.
Okay, wait. Were you drawing in you're doing the Bugs Bunny voices? You're doing it.
Every kid. Every kid growing up, and of course
when you're, that they're good, dude.
No, when you're a kid, it sucks. My voices sucked when I was a kid, but I sounded like a child trying to do Bugs Bunny. But then you get older, and if you're obsessed like me, you don't stop and you keep going, and you're like, wait, I'm actually getting good at this. High school was it. It was I was the troublemaker. There's a story that I finally let out. I was always the kid that the teacher would make me sit in the front of the class so she could see what I was doing. But when she would go to the back of the class, she couldn't see my face. The secretary in my high school, Jan Corey, she sounded like one of Marge Simpson's sisters. She had a very rough voice. So I was sitting right next to the PA system, the speaker. and I'd say, Miss King, could you please let Eric come to the class? Like, she thought that the secretary, like, it was me. So I have witnesses. Like, I got myself out of class, like, using my voice.
Oh my God, dude.
All I did was
tell this story. Why didn't you tell it earlier? Like, that's hilarious.
Oh, no one cared. I was. I feel like whatever.
Lucy Cole apparently is in the house. So
hey, excuse me, see, we just flashed your drawing, Lucy. Hi.
Flashed it.
I gotta mail this to her somehow.
Yeah,
she's on the East Coast. Yes.
Or you could take a picture of it and send it to her. She just has it on her phone, you know. She is on the East Coast.
Yes, she is.
Again, though, there's still a difference between, like, listen, I was trying to imitate Cardi B the other day. Like, it's fucking hard, man. I just can't lock into her. She's nuts, okay?
But you know what? From the best part is from a failed impression comes a brand new voice. You know what I mean?
True, for sure.
You have something in the bank that you could use for any upcoming sessions.
Yeah. No.
I mean, we should do a class next time. We should. I mean, we could do it right now if you want. But like, how to break down her voice? It would be kind of like she has, and that's the thing too. It's like someone like Chris Rock or Seth Rogen or Eddie Murphy. They have, they call it voices with character as opposed to character voices. They have a voice of character. Like Chris Rock has such a unique sounding voice. He doesn't sound like anyone that I know. White, black, Filipino, Mexican, Scottish. Like, he sounds just like Chris Rock. So it's like, and like same with Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen doesn't sound like he's Canadian. But
you do a Seth Rogen?
It's all about the laugh, and I can approximate a good Seth Rogen. If you're gonna cast a celebrity as Elmer Fudd, it would be Seth Rogen. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbit. I mean, come on, like there would be.
Do you also do Elmer Fudd?
What's that?
Do you also do Elmer Fudd?
Ooh, that wascally wabbit! I'll blast him.
The wascally wabbit.
Hello. Yeah, it's all about that vocal fly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also the fucking what's it called? The W instead of the R's.
Well, he has a weird way of
speaking. Yeah, his language. He has a language barrier, and I don't know what it is.
Slightly New Yorkie though, right? Because Bugs is a New Yorker.
It's funny. Here, let's do something interesting. So we've talked about some Looney Tunes characters like
Bugs Bunny, right? He's got this. What's up, Doc? What's up, Carolina? He has his voice lives right up here, right? And if you lose that New York accent and kind of just talk like this, and then talk like a baby, it becomes Tweety. Ooh, I ta pudding tad. They live in the same area, but when you kind of have that New York accent
and have a little bit of grit, he's got a little bit of like, Mel Blanc used to smoke like unfiltered cigarettes probably 24/7, and that's why he's able to do. Like Pepe Le Pew. Oh yes, I am the French skunk that chased the pussycat. But like there are voices that live within the same range, and you know this, being a voiceover artist. But Sylvester and Daffy are the same. A lot of people who might be listening know. But Sylvester, he's that big floppy cat that's trying to eat that bird, right? But nobody knows that when Mel Blanc was doing Daffy, he was just doing this voice.
Yeah.
But acting different, like, "You're despicable, rabbit," and then they would pitch that up.
So now when
I'm spitting all over my computer, but
keep spitting.
Yeah. So basically, when I do Daffy, I'm just doing the sped up version.
So I'm not doing the low. I wonder what it would sound like if I did do my version of Sylvester, and then they would digitally speed it up. They don't speed up Bugs, but they do speed up or pitch up Tweety.
Your Tweety.
Yeah, and they slightly pitch up my Daffy just to have that effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so weird what makes a voice. Like when Trey Parker does Cartman, maybe back in the day he was kind of doing like that scratchy voice, but now he's just kind of doing this weird. I don't know if you've seen that documentary 7 Days to Air. It's the South Park documentary where they show you how they make an episode.
Yeah.
But there's a good part of it where he's in the sound booth and he's doing Cartman's voice. And he kind of just sounds like this. He kind of just sounds like this big fat guy. Like, oh, come on. Like, I need a new iPad, mama. You know, and then when they speed that up, for some odd reason, it just becomes Cartman. Like,
yeah.
So many weird things in voiceover.
Well, one of the things I love when Jess explains how he found Wacko was that he's a version of, like...
all the Beatles?
Right, or all the Beatles. You know, and then when he goes into his imitation of the Beatles, you're like, what? And then you kind of fuse them, you know?
Well, it's because also he's a very talented musician. You know, like, you're talking about me who came into voiceover not being a trained actor, but being from someone of animation. And that's how I learned, was just kind of observing and watching. And, you know, when you watch a cartoon, you're not just watching a vocal performance, you're watching, you know, amazing backgrounds. There's timing with animation, these beautiful drawings, music, sound effects. You know, there's so much that goes into it. And the same thing with, like, with songs, you know, like there's a tempo, there's a bass guitar, so Jess Harnell is a very musical person, same as Billy West. Billy's amazing at guitar. He's an amazing guitarist, but you can imagine being someone that loves music and is in such a sonic world. Everything's just audio. You know, they're hearing like your fingers rubbing on like a metal guitar string. They hear every nuance, and they hear the difference between Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr and John Lennon, you know. So, of course, Jess Harnell would tap into his passion of music to create, you know, a voice that everyone loves. Like, Wacko Werner was my favorite Animaniac, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree. But then there's someone like Rob Paulsen, you know, like, he was an actor. He's an actor's actor. And I'm, you know, and in recent years, an amazing podcaster, a great interviewer, journalist and interviewer. But I wonder what a stand-up set by Rob Paulsen would be like, because like a stand-up comedian, because he's so funny. Like, that guy is.
Yeah, but stand-up is also another animal. You know, one thing is like, you know, we're having.
So let's talk about people in voiceover that are stand-up comedians, like Carlos Elizraki, like.
Oh, you know, I've never seen him perform, actually.
Oh my God, I've watched him perform.
Because he does I think I was recently watching Big Mouth, and I swore that you were doing a character, and then I also thought it was Chris Lance, and then I saw it was Alice Rock. Yeah, Carlos. Because it sounded very much like your Puss in Boots, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, I learned everything from Carlos. My first day of work in Nickelodeon, he was we were working on El Tigre together. He played my father.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
awesome.
Jorge Gutierrez and Sandra Ikiwa.
Yeah.
Carlos is amazing, amazing human being, good dad. Great artist.
Yeah, Carlos is amazing, but I have Eric Balzan. I do want to know the journey of your first voice that you did, and then how, like, right now you're 95% of the Looney Tunes. Like, did it just happen that you're in the booth recording Bugs, and then you do a little impression of Tweety, and they're like, oh my God, you're a great Tweety. Wait, Tweety, what do it now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, very nice.
Like, how did that, and then Fozzie, like, how did these come about? Did you audition for them all, or they're just like, we know this fucker can do it?
Well, I started it during this internship way back in 1999 at an animation studio here in California. And that...
You were 2 years old.
I was... If you think my skin is smooth now, wait till you see it in 1999. I was basically just a sperm with a face. But that's awful. And I'm sure someone will turn that into a meme.
Can somebody please draw it? Yes.
Of course. But, you know, it's... And again, if you guys are watching and you guys are also, you know... Oh, God. This pandemic. Hopefully this pandemic will be over and it'll reunite us, because that's where you meet your friends, right? Is through these connections. And maybe not. I've met so many great people over Zoom and have kept, you know, a really nice relationship with just a handful. One in particular. Oh, gossip. Oh God, is it hot? I'm starting to sweat here.
Getting flushed. My baby skin's going red. What's happening?
I feel like a piece of chicken at KFC right now under those hot lights. Yeah, at an internship when you're just starting out. You are just so eager to be there and so eager to meet people and let them know about yourself. When I was here in the United States for the first time from Canada, people thought I was like an alien. They were like, "What? Canada?" Like, they're like, "Oh," like they were just like mesmerized by the fact that I was from this far off land. And you kind of play towards that, and you kind of humor them, and you kind of talk and let them know about who you are, your interests, and I made these great friendships, but then I had to go back to Canada to graduate, and I was unemployed after school. Who'd have thought? I thought as soon as you finish school that you got a job right away, and you're already working on your 401k. It's not like that. They don't tell you that, you have to, it's sink or swim as soon as you graduate.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was unemployed for a while because I was like, what am I going to do, But then I got a call from those same friends that I had made like several years before. And they're like, we remember you, we haven't forgotten you. And we know that you loved doing voices and not just making copies and not just answering phones. We knew that you like doing voices, and now we have this opportunity. Would you like to audition for this show? And it was just like the first show that I was on for Warner Brothers was the show called Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island, and it was a Warner Brothers clear attempt to rip off SpongeBob SquarePants. And it was, voiced by Rob Paulson. So the Coconut Fred had a very high-pitched voice, very similar to SpongeBob, but Rob doing his thing. And we all knew. But the funny thing was I came to LA again, but I was recording that show in Canada. So as I was living with my aunt and uncle, I would fly. So I moved from Canada to the United States just to fly back to Canada in Vancouver to do these voices. So I was getting paid great because in Canada, you don't get residuals, but you get a huge buyout rate every session. So I was getting paid more than I had ever seen in my entire life. Like as a kid, I was like, oh my God, like I'm actually making enough to provide my own like airfare. They weren't paying me airfare to go up there. I was going up on my own merit. But as I was moonlighting as a Canadian voice actor still, I was working at an animation studio here in LA called 6 Point Harness. And they were the ones that were like, okay, you can go out and do your auditions and try to become a voice actor, but you have to get your work done. You have to like make sure all of your scenes are up on the server. Like, I was doing layout. Character layout is like this. It's like, you draw the poses before these poses get animated. It's a very luxurious position now because if you look at storyboards, they are practically animated now. There's no use for someone like me anymore. But but even that, like, I love drawing. It is a God-given talent, and I'm thankful for it. But even that wasn't enough. Like, I felt like the lettuce guy at Taco Bell. I felt like some guy handed me a taco, and I was like, here's some lettuce, and I would hand it off to the guy with the sour cream gun, And again, there are so many amazing artists that I look up to, and I'm like, you are a real artist. You carry a sketchbook around with you. I only think about voiceover. Like when I wake up, I think about voiceover. So anyways, fast forward past Coconut Fred. Again, all of these jobs that you get, you think, this is it. Like, I'll never have to work again. Like, it's like The Simpsons. You're like, this will be on for 30 years, and then next year it gets canceled. And then I'm back at the animation studio at 6 Point, drawing and then auditioning. And then El Tigre came around, and I think after El Tigre, that was 2007. That's when things started to slowly pick up. And even when I wasn't booking, and I wasn't even like getting a lot of auditions, but even when I wasn't booking, I quit my animation job.
Took the leap.
To give myself that pressure of like, well, like, fuck, you gotta book now. You have to book now, because if you don't, you're moving back to Canada. But I had friends like Matt Danner. He was the voice of Baby Kermit on Muppet Babies. He was also the show. He was also the show's like exec producer, and he's one of my best friends. He like let me stay at his place. Like he just got this house. He needed roommates. He needed the people to help him pay that mortgage, and I was like, I will pay the rent as long as I'm working. Like if I can get work.
Yeah, of course.
And I lived.
So book me on your show.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like if it wasn't for him and someone like Brendan Birch over at 6 Point Harness, I wouldn't be here. And it's like, I'm so thankful for it. And that's why I talk about other people, because it's like, these are the people that are the reason why I'm here,
I guess what I'm curious about though is like, I do remember auditioning for the niece or nephew of Porky Pig.
Oh, okay, Petunia Pig, yeah.
Like no, there's another one. Maybe it was the nephew.
It was the mom. I think it was also. Were you not auditioning for the mom of Beaky Buzzard?
Yeah, that one for sure. Yeah. I can't remember what the lines were, but I remember just going, you got to get to the rabbit. She was like Italian, but slightly like I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I worked on it, man. I worked on it.
That sounds great. I mean, I would have cast you in a heartbeat.
Thank you. It didn't happen, but I remember that one. No, I thought the Porky Pig one was a little boy. Cicero,
okay. Like a goat or something, right?
I did my best, but that's the only time that I've auditioned for something that like I know what it is versus like, oh, new animation coming to Nickelodeon or whatever, and like being also in the world of something that was a huge part of my life as a kid. I used to watch Bugs Bunny, in Colombia. So like that to me is huge. But like, so when you're coming into this, is it like, hey, this dude is getting old or this dude died and we need to replace him? Like, how did it all come about? So all of them.
So 2007 is, fast forward to 2000, not that far ahead, really. 2010, 2011 is when the Looney Tunes show came out. And that was the very first time that they, in a long time, that they're like, let's do a cartoon show with Bugs Bunny and Daffy and everyone. But they reimagined it like, Family Guy was the most popular thing on TV. So they're like, let's make it like a sitcom. Yeah. So they auditioned. They had an open audition for these characters. A gentleman by the name of Jeff Bergman, who was the first person to voice Bugs Bunny after Mel Blanc passed away in 1989, came back out of the woodwork. I think he had been working. I don't know the exact history of it all. But he came back to kind of read for these characters, and he nailed all of them. Like, he's amazing. He's one of my heroes. I love him to death. And that was 2010. And then, 2010. And then 10 years later, so they go 2010, I audition. I don't get anyone, but I did book Marvin. Not Marvin the Martian Earth creature. I booked Marvin. Yeah.
He's from Connecticut. Do you think?
Yeah. So I got in with Marvin, and I couldn't be happier because Marvin was like, aside from Bugs and Daffy, Marvin was like my favorite Looney Tunes character. He was only in like 4 or 5 shorts out of like the 30 original years of Looney Tunes. Mm-hmm. But that just goes to show how amazing that character is. People just can't get enough of him. So, so I walk away with Marvin completely content. I get to see all of my heroes again, voicing these characters, like Maurice LaMarche as Yosemite Sam, Billy West as Elmer Fudd, Jim Cummings as Taz. I think Jeff Bennett was doing Sylvester. I think. I mean, all these guys, they trade off like these voices. Like none of us really own these characters. Mel Blanc is the originator of these. He will always be these characters, and you can see what the fans say, and they're like, "This guy stinks. It's Mel Blanc forever," And then there are other people that are like, "He's trying," But
he's succeeding in my book, but okay.
But for me, it's like, man, oh man, Mel Blanc, you'll never be able to top that guy. But So Looney Tunes show comes and goes. They do another reboot called Wabbit, and they renamed that New Looney Tunes because they were trying to reimagine the show as back to basics Bugs Bunny, living in the hole, living in the forest, and all new villains were supposed to come around and like torment this rabbit.
Yeah.
But then they started slowly going, well, what if we had one episode with Elmer? And they're like, what if we had one episode with Yosemite Sam? And then suddenly everyone's back in the show.
Yeah.
So they named it New Looney Tunes, and that kind of like came and went. They were like, we don't know where to put it. It's now all on like Boomerang as well as streaming. But that one was a tricky one. It seemed like they were having trouble finding where this should exist.
Yeah.
But again, we're living in this date and age of reboots and remakes that are just now piling on top of each other.
Yeah.
So then they announced Looney Tunes cartoons in 2018. So again, it was a solid 10 years.
Yeah.
Between my first audition as Bugs Bunny and the time that I book it. 10 years, a decade.
Holy cow. Guys, are you listening? This is nuts. 10 years.
So 10 years goes by.
Yeah.
10 years goes by. Like, what the hell? Like, and, you know, I'm just kind of like, okay, I love and respect the people that voice Bugs Bunny before me. Like Billy West. Or the late, two people have passed away, Joe Lasky and Greg Burson, and respectfully, Jeff Bergman. I guess I got to get a Berg in my last name for this to work. But but I also respect Bugs Bunny. I have a love and respect for Bugs Bunny, and I have a feeling that any voice actor in their right mind opens their email and they see audition for Bugs Bunny. You're going to read for it, no matter what.
Because even if you suck.
Because, even if you suck, you're going to read for it. And even if you're not even close, you're going to... Because you want it. It's Bugs Bunny. Like, when else are you ever going to say, I read for Bugs Bunny in my lifetime?
I get to say, what's up, Doc?
Yeah, the way you say it. Even if you don't sound like him, you say it the way you say it.
You're doing your best.
Yeah. So, I auditioned for that. And I auditioned for Daffy. I auditioned for Tweety. And I auditioned for Marvin, and that was it. Those were the only ones that I ever auditioned for. And then I booked
all four.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
Yeah. so and you know, and we had been working on it like 2018, and it finally premiered in 2020 of March, the same time that COVID-19 premiered.
It premiered in 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I think this had been going on for the last 5 years?
Because you know me, and we probably gossiped about it. And like,
holy cow, dude!
Yeah, so it only premiered last year in March, the same time that COVID-19. So imagine this now. You know, you have probably seen the recent media blitz that I've been on.
I have.
I do not have a publicist. All of those interviews, sometime before Christmas or after Christmas, or no, it was before Christmas. It was about a week after my birthday, days after my birthday, sorry. I must have done...
Just now was your birthday?
December 7th.
Happy birthday.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. About a day after my birthday, after the one news story broke, that was beautifully edited and story told by Jana McGinn, one of my old college friends, believe it or not. She was like, I want to do a story of you being Bugs Bunny now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we went through this entire year of this depressing, sad year of COVID and everything else.
Yeah.
All of this stuff that happened in 2020 that just, was a dark cloud over us. She's like, I think it's time that, we do this story on how, you're from Canada and you're voicing this character.
Yeah.
And, it just blew up. It just blew up. And I must have done in a day, in less than 24 hours, 8 interviews.
Shut up.
And that was 2 newspapers and I was on the news on 3 different channels in Canada at the same time. Because I was doing these interviews back to back, all over Zoom. If it weren't for the pandemic, I wouldn't have been able to do that many interviews because I would have had to have driven from one place to another. First of all, I would have to be in Canada.
Yeah,
all of these interviews were happening right here in the corner of my bedroom. so again.
Oh my God! Congrats! I didn't realize it was so recent that it had launched. Therefore, like, I thought you'd just been doing this for years, and all of a sudden some press had happened. But this is a big deal, dude.
Yeah, it really at the end of 2020, like the most horrible year ever. That was one of my silver linings.
And here you are on Rabasa News telling us how you characters.
You're one of the first people after New Year to be like, hey, do you want to talk? And I'm like, yeah, because I want to see you, and I miss you very much, and I hope everything's going well in your neck of the woods.
We didn't get San Diego Comic-Con this year, and
I don't think we're gonna get it this year.
I know. It's still craziness. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
The beauty of our jobs is that we have been able to record. Did you have a studio at home before?
No, I still don't. I call it my Christopher Walken closet. I go in there and I record voices for cartoons. Yeah. I'll tell you that about 90% of Space Jam 2 will have been recorded in my closet.
Oh my God, dude. You're in Space Jam 2 because you're
I can't say who I'm voicing, but I can definitely, I'm confident in saying that I'm going to be in that film. But I can't say who I'm voicing because they've LeBron James. If LeBron James has anything to do with it, he takes that ant farm and goes. He shakes the ant farm.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's all new. It's going to be strange, but I feel like I think the fans are going to love it.
Oh my God, that's exciting. When's it supposed to come out?
July 21st, 2021.
Guys, that's around the corner.
Yeah.
It's going to be soon.
I gotta start cutting out carbs so I could fit back into my tuxedo.
Lightning Shay says, so Space Jam is Eric Bauza and LeBron James, basically, because all of them, dude.
I mean, good Lord. I'm like, I grew up watching the original. Like, if you were, like me, I was in high school in 1996. Yeah. And I remember seeing, like, the... I bought two of the posters that they had the one poster with Michael Jordan holding all the Looney Tunes, and then they had these really crazy stylistic posters where it was like all red and black, and it was just the silhouettes of the characters, like really badass. And I bought like two of those posters off eBay, and I had Billy West sign one of the and I had D. Bradley Baker sign the other one.
Oh,
so I have to get that shit framed.
Wait, dude, I just remembered you do Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah, that's right. Woody Woodpecker. What about him?
I was obsessed as a kid, and I kept trying to do the... I can't.
If you gotta be Winnie. Winnie is Woody's girlfriend. Yeah.
Oh
Winnie? Oh, come on, Winnie.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a Winnie Woodpecker. But I did have a cap that I used to play soccer, and I would put it on backwards because I was the goalie at the time. I wasn't whatever. And Woody, like, I just felt like I was Woody or Tigger in the Winnie the Pooh series because
you could be like, you were like fast. Were you like all over the net?
Fast and a little zany, like Woody's just kind of weird,
You a little zany?
Zany. Do you remember that bird that's in the Donald Duck one of the episodes, and he sings?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I kind of felt like I've always been that kind of character myself. And Woody has that quality, So,
yeah, he does. He does. Pica-pau in Brazil.
What is it called?
Pica-pau.
Pica-pau. Done.
There was a did I say it right?
No, yeah.
Yeah, Pica-pau. There was a group of Brazilian kids going on the Warner Brothers tour. I was there coincidentally meeting with my friend Gary Marino, and he does all of the Warner Brothers straight to DVD, all the behind the scenes stuff, all of the DVD authoring that goes into your home movie for Warner Brothers, animation specifically. Yeah. And we were just there getting a coffee, but there was a giant group of Brazilian tourists that were like all kids.
I love it.
And I let one of them know that I was the voice of Woody Woodpecker because I know how big Woody is in Brazil. And boy, oh boy, like everyone was like, you know, they like do the laugh.
Well, recently I spent Christmas with some girlfriends here who have 2 little babies, and the little 4-year-old goes,
No way.
We never watched Woody, so we all like, oh my god! And then I kind of remembered it was a thing, you know, that I used to love as a kid. Question: I haven't really heard your Daffy.
Finally. Wait, I'm sorry. You know, you have heard it. I did it a little bit earlier, but finally, the real star of this whole conversation is here. So, what question do you want to ask?
Well, I guess you did mention the difference between Daffy and Sylvester, but like, how did you find Daffy? You know,
it's weird because it's a good question because I was always thinking about Bugs.
Everyone's thinking about Bugs Bunny, Doc. No one thinks about Daffy.
When they audition, they're like, all they want to do is Bugs Bunny. No one ever thinks about Daffy. And it's like, it is the weirdest voice that I never knew I could do. Because up until I was asked to audition for it, I didn't know that I could do it. Like, who just sits there and goes,
oh boy, I'm Daffy Duck. Oh boy, okay,
but there really is a cadence and there is a sound to his voice. It's you know, I always equate it to Richard Dreyfuss with a lisp.
You know, Richard Dreyfuss talks like this, and if you just add a lisp to that, that becomes Daffy Duck.
It's
the fact that you're connecting these things, it's a whole other level of understanding these voices and these characters behind them.
You know, but again, all of the work was done by Mel Blanc. I just have to all I have to do is, you know, instead of...
I think it's easier to invent a character than to you recreate it and then connect to the essence of them.
That is the goal, though, right? The ultimate goal of a voiceover artist is to create the voice, not to just imitate one. I feel like there is a magic trick and there's some merit in what I do, but of course, the dream is to be like Tom Kenny, who invents this voice that every kid wants to impersonate, you know? Like, that's the dream. But if I'm only ever going to be the 7th person to voice Bugs Bunny, I'm also happy. Yeah.
Also, I think that Antonio Banderas, like, saying what he said, what else is he going to say? Oh, well, I got replaced by a dude who does it better than me. No, it's like, I created this and it'll live on. You know, I think it was a diplomatic way of responding. But
you know, he like much like Mel Blanc, it's like the only real person that could do that voice is Antonio. Like, when you hear him do that voice, you're just like, oh man, that's so good. Like, there are so many. There's a short on YouTube as well called Puss in Boots and the Three Diablos. It wasn't any of the Shrek movies or the standalone Puss in Boots movie. It was its own short cartoon. It was like 5, 7 minutes, 10 minutes tops. And it was Puss in Boots on one of his own adventures. And it is one of the funniest cartoons I've ever seen. And it's all because of him. Like, unpredictable. Like how he can perform.
And you know, I did love when they dubbed Shrek to Spanish. I love that he did his own translation. It really is magical. That's the best translation I've ever seen. The dubbing of Disney or any Pixar or any animation. Shrek is by far one of the top ones. They do a really good job with it.
Yeah.
So wait, we're gonna wrap up soonish because we're 5 minutes over. I'm so sorry. I'm usually very punctual. It's just, you're fascinating. I love your top characters, and I have loved understanding how you've gotten there. And Fozzie, I mean, I am a fan of Muppet. I know you do a good Kermie, and I know you do, like, you're like, yeah, I know, I do a good. You don't voice Kermie, right?
What's that?
You don't voice Kermit.
I do not.
You do not. But what's your impersonation?
You want to hear it?
I do, absolutely.
Okay, well, you know, there's such a between Jim Henson and Frank Oz. Yeah. So Jim Henson was like, it's like watching Matt Stone and Trey Parker. It's like Jim Henson and Frank Oz basically were like 50% of 50-50 for the most part. And then there's Dave Goelz, who is the voice of Gonzo. He was the voice of Gonzo. I also have a pretty good Gonzo, if you ask me. Yeah. And then there's Fozzie. Hey, Carolina, why did the chicken cross the playground?
to get to the other slide. Waka waka. And then there's, Kermit the Frog. Hey, it's the Muppet Show. Yay! It's this weird, both Jim and Frank had this weird plumbing. I don't know if it was their throats or their noses.
Weird plumbing, that's a good way of explaining it.
But they all sounded like they had, in the back of their throat, how they talked. That's just how they talked normally.
Yeah.
If you listen to Jim Henson talk in an interview, and that is if you're a voice matcher out there, if you like to voice match, you said you were studying Cardi B, you probably watch her Instagram or interviews that she's done.
Interviews, yeah.
And again, Cardi B, it's half of the voice is her unpredictability too.
Absolutely.
She's nuts.
Yeah.
She needs to refer to.
It's this weird otherness that comes out of her. Yeah.
It's so good. You're so good. You're so funny.
I am going to take you up on it's up later through coffee or Zoom or something. When you said let's break it down.
We should do something on our own, like a pre-recorded thing that you could show on your Twitch or put it on your social media.
Yeah.
We try to break down a voice from scratch. We can do stuff that had been established, like Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck. But if you want to do something that is completely like us, either it's going to be really good or we just crash and burn. I think that's fun.
And I think I've asked Ross Marquand too, how he because he tells me he spends hours on YouTube just listening and going in and where do they place the voice and it's not just when people say I do a good impression of Sombra, that's one thing, but it's when you understand the character, it goes that much deeper than just the tone, the timbre, or the
It's less an impression. You just have to become the character. The biggest thing I could leave with is in Looney Tunes, we are reading dialogue that has not been said by anyone. I always pull this one.
So anyways, Doc, the LA Court Connection. Pay your traffic tickets.
This is like a citation for a...
September 14th or later. Check the court's website. https://www.lacourt.org for updates regarding the rollout schedule. If not, your ass will be thrown in jail.
Yeah, so it's it's stuff that has never been read. So how do you make it sound like it is the character? Well, you dial into all of your favorite memories as a kid watching this show. And you watch, I've replaced going to the gym with watching an hour of Looney Tunes every other day. So I watch Looney Tunes for an hour every other day, and not just Bugs, but all of them. I have to watch all of them.
Good point. I auditioned for to voice match Vanellope in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Silverman, and not gonna lie, I think I did a pretty good job. But
sure,
I clicked when I had. No, I can't bring it up right now. It's lost. It was 2 years ago. But, I remember just locking into the lines that she had done and then imitating them, and I could nail those. But then when there were new lines that she hadn't recorded, that's what we were probably going to do, it was hard to find it. It's one thing to have a really good ear and imitate, and then another one to be it and then be able to make it come to life, Yeah,
and I think that's the safety net. That, again, you could leave on so many different points. I know we're going over time, but if you're a voiceover impressionist, there is something that is being too good of a voiceover impressionist that it leaves you in this box. The moment that you break out of that box is the moment where the audience goes, that's not the original guy. Or ooh, that's somebody else trying. There are moments in Mel Blanc's performance, and I'm already adjusting my volume, where there's an episode or a short where he helps this little penguin get back to the North Pole. And it's Playboy Penguin. It's that little, he doesn't talk, he's always crying ice cubes, and he's got a little top hat because he looks like he's wearing a tux. And he goes,
okay, Doc, I'll help you get back home. Where do you live?
And then he points at a map, and it says North Pole. And then Bugs Bunny goes, North Pole? Ooh, I'm dying! He gets cold,
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm dying again!
you know, like, it's that weird stuff that Mel Blanc did that was, like, outside of the voice of Bugs.
Yeah.
That most voice impressionists are scared to do. But that's the one thing that I wanted to do. I was like, there is that unhinged manic energy, much like Antonio Banderas, that, like, only he could do. But if you study it well enough, that kind of fills that void that has been missing from the character so long.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, no one does that scream that Mel Blanc did. But this guy, like, that was also the scariest moment for me when they dropped the trailer for Looney Tunes cartoons, was because, like, this is the moment, the make or break moment. But as soon as they heard me do that scream, the fans, like, the real diehard fans they loved it. So I was like, whew.
Oh my God, that's so incredible. Okay, before I wrap up, I wanted to ask for an inside joke among the Valorant players. There's this thing that happened online, and it's this, oh my God, I think he's Filipino. He's a gamer who went viral because he was saying, "Revive me, Jet." Jet is one of the characters, but he kept screaming, "Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet!" And so I've asked the other Valorant voice actors to say "Revive me, Jet" 3 times in their character's voice, but it's come up quite a few times that they want Bugs Bunny to say "Revive me, Jet."
Oh, really?
It would, like, make their day and my day, so if I could beg you.
All right. So we're playing, right? We're playing, and then the character dies, and then if Bugs is playing, he'd be like,
Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet!
we could do Daffy.
Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! Woohoo! Woohoo!
That added that extra pizzazz. And sorry, Tweety?
Ooh, revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! Deadpan old Jet!
Revive me, Jet. Oh, God, the W's are just amazing.
Yeah, that was actually probably... but last but not least... revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! Revive me, Jet! You earth creature, you! Yeah.
He's like a little man in a suit who's all proper, right?
Yeah, that's that. You know, the original voice of Marvin was not that voice. It was like this. It's like, oh, I'm going to blow up the earth. Like, he was a bit of a more nebbish kind of nerd. And then for whatever reason, Mel Blanc changed it from, you know, a voice like this to a voice like this. Oh.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Oh my God, it's so good. You have just made our day. Oh my God.
Man.
I want everybody to follow Eric Bauza on the Insta right now, because you also post the most beautiful animations constantly. Like, I love how you do that. You're always it's Bauzilla, am I correct?
Yeah, at Bauzilla.
At Bauzilla on Insta and Twitter. I'll be tagging you. We're gonna compile some of these things for my YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
And then also just like tag you away, because oh my God, it's so fabulous to listen to and see you break it down, because it really is an art form. It's incredible.
Well, if you have a lot of time on your hands like me, then...
Oh, and now you've been living off of it, though. Are you kidding? Like, does your son love listening to you doing these, or is he over it? He's like, Dad, what the fuck? I don't like bugs.
He's 4 years old, and he can do a really good Bugs Bunny impression. We're talking about a 4-year-old that knows how to skip ads on YouTube, like with his remote control. I'm like, what the hell? Like, this future that we're living in with our kids. If there's any young parents out there, it's just...
No, they're all 12 watching right now. Yeah.
Well, one day,
yeah.
you will be listening to this conversation back and go, oh yeah, you're right. These kids these days. But he does know the difference between when I'm doing a voice and when I'm not. And sometimes now he'll ask, like, if we're watching a cartoon, he'll be like, "Did you do that voice?" And I'm like, "No." And then like,
no, I've done 35,000 voices, but not that one.
I'm like, "No, that was Carolina Ravassa."
Yeah, right. Yeah, right, dude. I cannot wait to work on something with you. And,
I know we are long overdue, and I'm praying to the voiceover gods that we land something together that will last seasons and seasons, and
hopefully
and make us rich.
I remember begging the Nickelodeon people to let me. Well, as soon as I saw your name on the sign-in sheet, I'm like, "Can I please just watch? I'll be really quiet," because I have learned so much from watching you and Dee Bradley and Fred Tatasciore, holy cow.
Fred, yes.
It's just stunning to get to watch because I learned so much. So bear with me here, Eric. I'm going to shout out some subscribers from today. There's not many, but I'm always very excited to have them. Magical Hobo 72 subscribed for 3 months at tier 1. Thank you, darling. Nina Iwi, EWE. How would I say that? Ninao. Subscribe for 4 months at tier 1. You get a Sombra voice line, the diva waifu, apagando las luces. Boop. They get to request voice lines.
That's great.
Maisie Grove, you're hysterical. Ray's voice line from Valorant. She's Brazilian, by the way. Yes, I'm pumped. And that was my hair going in there as well. And Mercy Yura, hi, darling. Ya estoy lista. It's a Sombra voice line. Ya estoy lista para ese trago. She is, in fact, saying, I need a drink. Like, alcoholic beverage. So I like that, like, this character's a little bit dark.
Nice.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Eric Bauza is incredibly talented. Please follow his stuff so you can keep up with his work and watch the Looney Tunes. And the Revive Me Jet has just made this, because there's a lot of Valorant followers on here that play the new video game from, I was going to say Rockstar Games. Oh my God, Riot Games. Rockstar Riot, close,
It's in the ballpark. It's in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure. Any last minute things you would like to let the viewers know? Watch Looney Tunes, watch Muppets.
Yeah, just thankful for you guys tuning in and listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on either Twitter or Instagram. I answer almost all direct messages or questions, just because, especially if they have to, obviously deal with people that love voiceover. And, that's one of the things that you and I bonded on is, your love for VO and you making the big leap over here. And look what happened, like you have an amazing fan base, and rightfully so. You're very contagious. Your energy and your spirit and what you bring to the table is unique. No one else can do what you can do. So thank you for having me on your program.
My program, I love it. It's a Twitch stream, dude. But
it's a program. This is the current currency.
True. Thank you for coming on. I do want you to know that there are people from all over the world here. Watermelon is asking how often these happen. Tuesdays, Thursdays, noon to 1 Pacific Standard Time. It's LA time, and I mean we have people. I kid you not, from the Philippines, Kuwait. Wales, Amsterdam, Brazil, India. India's always here. It's kind of amazing. I mean, all over. So it's just really, really exciting to feel like the world kind of makes it into this tiny little box,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Malawi. Like, dude, when have you had somebody from Malawi watching? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nuts. A Brazilian living in Canada. I always get excited when they go and let me know where they're from, because it just means that we are coming together for the love of video games and animation, which everyone here is here for voice acting. That's what I've focused on my Twitch channel on. It's
That's awesome.
All the things. Oh my God, Mercy Euro subscribed to tier 1 for 2 months. Thank you. That's another one that came up. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, all those things, and keep booming and booping. Boop.
That's all, folks.